Good evening, it's 8 o'clock. I'm Sally Baudet, live from Johannesburg. Your top stories this evening. 67 people have perished in the KwaZulu-Natal floods. Now the challenges of shelter, food and disease control as Durban tries to pick up the pieces after a devastating week. Not fit for office. That's what Judge Yvonne Mokgoro has found regarding NPA executives Nomgcobo Jiba and Lawrence Mrwebi. Legal pundits say it's a step towards restoring the integrity of the National Prosecuting Authority. And unlocking a problem? Car manufacturer Ford admits to problematic security in some vehicles after numerous complaints of break-ins. Let's start here. 67 is the official number of people who've died in flood-ravaged KwaZulu-Natal. Efforts to help victims continue. Government has set up a support desk to provide food and clothing for affected families. Heavy rains have washed away roads, destroyed homes and displaced over 1,000 people in the province. Here's a cooperative governance MEC in KwaZulu-Natal, Nomgcobo.
We've commenced with the social relief interventions, such as the food packages, feeding schemes, school uniforms that will allow the children that have been affected to go to school together with the learner support material. We will also continue to offer counseling to the bereaved families. We are finalizing the funeral arrangement support to ensure that decent burials of the departed.
Well, many residents are now trying to rebuild their homes. Others are running out of patience, waiting for government to help them. Mrwebi reports.
The aftermath of raging waters. Houses fell to pieces. More than 1,000 people now homeless. 4 days later, the destruction sinks in. Families collect whatever they can from the homes of their loved ones who died.
Abantu abasekhaya bazi ukuthi yini enzekile ufune ngifike ngichaze konke nokuthi indlu ibiqine kanjani njengoba uyibona nje.
Government is promising to help.
We'll also have to focus on ensuring that those who need houses are assisted to get houses immediately through the intervention such as the program of Suguma Sake program.
But that's hard to believe for residents who are still waiting for assistance.
Actually, I'm not going to say a lie. It will not very fast because I knew. But if you think here, they need to start with the bridge. The problem here is the bridge.
Those affected want help now, but that's not going to happen. So as their homes hang in the balance, many will have to wait a little while longer before they get the help they want. Mrwebi, Durban.
Meanwhile, the people who died in the Empangeni church collapse over the Easter weekend were remembered during a special service today. 13 people died when a wall at the Pentecostal Holiness Church caved in during a storm. 16 other people were injured. Now, the KwaZulu-Natal provincial government is investigating whether the church's structure was secure. Leaders of the church maintain the building was safe and the wall collapsed due to the violent storm. Are the careers of prosecutors Nomgcobo Jiba and Lawrence Mrwebi now over? The Mokgoro Inquiry has found the pair is unfit to hold office and recommends the president fire both of them. Ramaphosa had until close of business today to make a decision and communicate their fate to them. So, what did Justice Yvonne Mokgoro say about the pair? And a bigger question for us as a country, what does this mean for the future of the National Prosecuting Authority? Govan Whittles takes a look.
Senior prosecutors who were dishonest and lacked integrity. Justice Yvonne Mokgoro has made several damning findings against advocates Nomgcobo Jiba and Lawrence Mrwebi. They include that Jiba compromised the independence of the NPA, compromised her integrity, damaged public confidence in the NPA, brought the NPA into disrepute, and showed irreverence towards the courts. Regarding Mrwebi, Mokgoro found he acted contrary to the provisions in the NPA Act, was dishonest under oath, lacked understanding of the law and legal process, that withdrawing the Mdluli charges was irrational and unlawful, and had no respect for court processes. Freedom Under Law says the report and its findings bode well for restoring the integrity of the NPA.
I hope that it puts the National Prosecuting Authority on a much stronger footing to be able to, rebuild the public's confidence, allow for a return, a restoration of integrity and trust on the part of the public.
President Cyril Ramaphosa also received representations from both Jiba and Mrwebi in response to the report. But were these scathing findings the final nails in their coffins? Govan Whittles, Johannesburg.
First, it was burning cougars. Now it's easy access for criminals. Ford owners have a new worry with a spate of break-ins recently. Now, the car manufacturer has since acknowledged that there is a problem with the locking system on certain models. Obile Madlala has the story.
Ford owners have for some time now been complaining about locks that are easy pickings for criminals. And now Ford admits there is a problem.
We are aware of certain older EcoSport and Fiesta vehicles that are being targeted by criminals. In some break-ins, we're finding that the alarm does not sound, although the immobilizer is still active. We are also looking at the security systems in our other Ford models.
Ford driver Happy Molloy has fallen victim. He's lost all his work tools in a break-in. While any car can be broken into with enough determination, this mechanic thinks he has figured out the problem.
It's very easy to turn the screws. When you put the spare key in, you can turn the barrel with ease. They need to design a lock that the minute you apply too much force to the lock, it snaps inside rather than turning it. That way Ford can protect their cars from being broken into, because as it stands, this lock is not sufficient.
Ford says it has plans to remedy the situation.
Firstly, if a vehicle already has an alarm, we'll make sure that it sounds when the key lock is tampered with. If a vehicle does not have a standard alarm, we'll offer one as an accessory, which will go off if the lock is tampered with. The third option is we'll replace the lock with a new remote and a high security key. We are busy finalizing these solutions and will contact our customers directly.
But customers on this social media platform remain skeptical whether the car manufacturer will be able to fix this latest headache fast enough. Obile Madlala, Pretoria.
In other news from today, the Democratic Alliance has slammed the 120 million rand budget set aside for next month's presidential inauguration. Now, the figure has been revealed in the discussion documents of a parliamentary task team preparing for the next parliament. The official opposition says government's talk of belt tightening is merely lip service. The presidency is yet to respond. Public Protector Busisiwe Mkhwebane says there's no witch hunt against former SARS Commissioner Pravin Gordhan. Now, Gordhan has received a subpoena from the Public Protector over her investigation into the so-called rogue unit, which was apparently established at SARS during Gordhan's tenure 10 years ago. The rogue unit had initially been investigated by the NPA in 2016, but charges were later withdrawn. Now, Mkhwebane says Gordhan is not being cooperative.
It's concerning that now having one minister who's always going to the media as if we are targeting or harassing him. I would never do that. I mean, this process is to assist him to clear his name. And I mean, if all these institutions have been dealing with the matter, it's just a matter of writing what he knows about the matter. We will also get information through our investigation. And if there's anything, we will still go take it back to him.
Still ahead on eNews. This domestic violence suspect was on the run for over 3 hours. We'll tell you how it ends.
And in your business news, the rand has remained under pressure today amid global growth concerns which sparked risk-off trade.
Your business and money news now with Refiwa Madzena. Good evening to Refiwa. That ComAir strike will not go ahead. NUMSA has been stopped by the Labour Court. Is that the end of the road for the strike? Can we all book our tickets with Kalula and BA with confidence again?
Well, if NUMSA has its way, the short answer, Sally, is no. But essentially, the Labour Court has rendered the strike illegal. It's something that may not happen. They've actually referred the matter for arbitration. And just a quick bit of context for you here, Sally. So what NUMSA is arguing is that there are major wage discrepancies at ComAir, where workers who do the exact same work are earning as much as a 7,000 Rand difference. So ComAir has admitted that there is at least one case where there's a pay discrepancy, but most workers, the discrepancy is about 600 Rand.
So why would the Labour Court say you can't strike? So
the Labour Court has said that it's a matter, matters that have to do with wage talks have to be going through arbitration. And the main reason for this is that the wage talks are still underway. The negotiations were not finished, and there hadn't been a concrete solution as to a way forward between ComAir and NUMSA. So that's why they've sent it through for arbitration, so that it can be completed in that way. But it's going to be interesting to see. I mean, the share price was down about 1.1%. Shareholders not too keen on the arbitration process, because the CCMA has come out to say that actually what is happening at ComAir, based on the information that they've gathered, is unfair.
Very, very interesting one to watch. How were the markets today?
Not a great day on the markets again today, Sally. So the JSE was lower today. Today it was tracking weaker global markets as concerns about the state of the world economy has weighed on risk assets. But gold miners did benefit from interest in those safe haven assets once again. So shortly after the JSE closed on the commodities front, gold was up 1/3% as it slowly regains its safe haven asset status. Brent crude reached $75 a barrel for the first time this year, and this as Russian exports were cut, and that's not great news for South African consumers when it comes to that petrol price. If we take a look at the local unit now, the Rand was weaker against major global currencies this morning, looking to extend a week of losses against the dollar, and this is due to that risk-off trade that we are seeing. But the local currency may stage a mild recovery after those crucial elections, Sally.
Yes, indeed. Thank you very much, Refiwa Madzena. Let's take a look at international news now. And North Korea's Kim Jong-un and Russia's Vladimir Putin have pledged to boost ties between the two countries. The two leaders met at their first ever summit today. Kim said they had a very meaningful exchange on issues of mutual interest. It's being reported that denuclearization was high on the agenda, with Putin offering to support efforts to normalize North Korean-US relations. Joe Biden has joined the race for the United States #1 post. The former vice president announced his third presidential bid in a YouTube post. Biden will go up against 19 other Democratic Party presidential hopefuls when America goes to the polls next year. Now, he's faced some criticism recently from several women who said he made them feel uncomfortable in the way he touched them in an over-familiar way. And check this out. A domestic violence suspect has been arrested in Los Angeles after leading police on a 3-hour car chase. Now, the entire chase was caught on camera. Police pursued him along streets and highways. The man also drove his car through a public park, narrowly missing pedestrians. But he eventually parked his car and then ran into a discount store where, of course, he was promptly arrested. I mean, I'm wondering if he was perhaps just trying to get a call. Still ahead, we'll go to Candace at our Weather Centre for all your latest weather news. Good evening, Candace. And then President Cyril Ramaphosa bestows top honours on this top South African and other outstanding citizens. Let's head down to Cape Town for all your weather news. Candace McKechnie is with us. Good evening to you, Candace. Has Cyclone Kenneth made landfall in northern Mozambique yet?
Hi, good evening, Sally. It has indeed. In fact, it made landfall between about 3 and 4 o'clock earlier on today. It's already brought in gale force winds and, of course, lots of rainfall. And we're expecting it to continue to bring in rainfall in huge amounts over the next couple of days. And we'll see the northeastern part of Mozambique most affected. Now, South Africa's weather is really quiet in comparison as we wrap up the work week, with a few showers still remaining over the northeastern part of KwaZulu-Natal overnight into the early hours of Friday morning. We'll also see that fog pushing in along the western and southwestern coastline, but overall we're expecting sunny and warmer weather across South Africa, and that continues as we head towards the weekend. Here's a look at our weather forecast in detail. Sunny and dry throughout the Northern Cape, 30 degrees for Uppington, Springbok, Prieska and Calvinia all at 28. A cooler day is expected over the southern part of the Western Cape, with highs mainly in the low 20s. Still warm across the interior as well as into George at 28 degrees. Dry throughout the Eastern Cape, cloud main along the coast with highs in the low and middle 20s. And you'll also see that wet weather finally clearing out of KwaZulu-Natal, Pietermaritzburg and Durban at 25. Cold in the Highvelds in the morning with a warm afternoon. You'll also see a high of around 30 for Bombela and Skokuza, with a predominantly sunny and hot day throughout Limpopo. You'll also see dry weather and sunny conditions into northwest, Mahikeng at 27, Bloemfontein with a mild afternoon and a chilly start to the day for the Free State, with highs heading into the low and middle 20s. A similar day for Gauteng, with a sunny end to the work week and a fine Friday in store. Now, as we head towards the weekend, you'll see that dry weather persisting across South Africa, with a bit of cloud in the east, and by Sunday we're expecting pleasant and warm weather conditions across South Africa. That's all from the Weather Centre. Have a good night.
And you as well. Thank you very much, Candice McKechnie there in Cape Town. And finally, what do a songstress, an actor, a legendary cricketer and a maths teacher have in common? Well, they're all recipients of this year's national orders. Yvonne Chaka, Jacques Callis, actress Mary Twala, journalist Matata Sedu and television maths teacher William Smith were honoured at the National Orders ceremony today. Now, the orders celebrate individuals who've excelled in various fields and whose actions represent the triumph of the human spirit. President Cyril Ramaphosa also bestowed the Order of Mendi for bravery posthumously on 9-year-old Tapelo Tambani. Now, the young boy died last year while trying to save his friend from drowning in a water-filled pit in Soshanguve.
To Tapelo's family and his father who's here, we wish you strength. Your son was among the bravest of the brave in our nation.
Getting this accolade from the president came as a shock to me, because I thought there's too many people doing good work out there.
I'm feeling great. I'm feeling wonderful. It's been a wonderful sort of culmination of a long life. Very lucky. I was in the right place at the right time with the right knowledge, and I had some rather nice students.
We all remember him. Let's recap your top stories before we close now. 67 people have perished in the KwaZulu-Natal floods. Now the challenges of shelter, food and disease control as Durban tries to pick up the pieces after a devastating week. Not fit for the NPA. That's what Judge Yvonne Mokgoro has found regarding NPA executives Nomgcobo Jiba and Lawrence Mrwebi. Legal pundits say it's a step towards restoring the integrity of the National Prosecuting Authority. From me and the team, it's a very good night.